Where am I? I'm here. I'm alive. Everyone, hello. Oh my god, Josh. Oh my good gosh. Oh, I almost said my good Josh. Hello, my good Josh. Hello, Sparky. How you doing? I don't know why my chat's still broken like that with everyone having @ symbols of a name. Like, is there a way for me to fix this? I've looked for it and it doesn't show me. I wish there was. I wish I could fix it, but hello. Oh, how are you doing? How are you doing? My mother bought, what's it called? She bought like a box of assorted biscuits the other day and I had a shortbread from them. And then I was saying, I like a bit of shortbread, you know, once in a while. Like, once in a very long while. And then she was like, oh, buy a tin of shortbreads. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And then she did. She bought a big old tin of assorted Scottish shortbreads. And now I have to eat them. I mean, I definitely have to. It's not like I can just leave them and just wait, like, months, because they don't really go off that easily, especially in a tin. But no, I have to eat them all at once. No, definitely have to. It's just the rules, you know. Oh, I absolutely love shortbreads though. Scottish shortbreads. What makes them Scottish? Were they like made in Scotland, or is there a specific way to make? I should look up what makes them Scottish. It's really weird though, because they say Scottish shortbreads, and there's like, and for assorted Scottish shortbreads, but you know, yeah, I've took a big old bite from this one, but it's like, it's got this little fleur-de-lis symbol on it. Hello, that guy over there. Of course, Uncle Muffin. Uncle Muffin, Inquisitor Muffin. Yeah, it's got a fleur-de-lis and this thing, which is more of a French symbol. It's like, what's a kite shield? And there's another kite shield with, you know, the English lion on it. And there's like no Scottish symbols on them. And I'm like, why is it not Scottish? Actually, I guess Scotland does like as well. Well, actually, Britain does in general. I feel like the lion isn't very Scottish. That's definitely English. And that's not as cool as a dragon, but the dragon's Welsh. Why not the Kingdom of Alba? The Kingdom of Alba! Wait, did the Kingdom of Alba have a lion on their symbol? Oh, but Alba! I mean, Alba did kind of bring out the Scots as well. But the true Scots are the Picts, you know. The Scots that came afterwards, no, they're foreign invaders. Nom 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 nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. I definitely shouldn't be eating for a board that's covered in plastic and resin bases, but whatever. I need a drink. You can see my little mouthful. Oh gosh, that's funny. You can see when I'm eating, it's like, ah. Okay, I've eaten the shortbread. It's gone. No shortbread for you guys. Or did you guys want shortbread? I can bring you some shortbread. Oh yeah, Cuptle is still broken. Cuptle is still super duper broken. And I did look it up. And this is because of Stream Elements API is down. So nothing I can do to fix it. Cuptle is still stuck speaking Animalese. From Animal Crossing. But oh gosh, what are we doing? What are we doing? We got things to paint today. I've got this metal tray here that I won't put on the thing because it's probably just going to show my reflection. And look, all of these models have literal magnets under them, except one of them. One of them, the magnets came off and they're just stuck to the tray instead. I'm going to have to fix that at some point, but you know. This one. This is a broken one. You can see where the magnets were stuck to it, but... Could we get some shortbread? Yeah! You can have some shortbread. I'll email it to you. Oh, I found out Gemini is now, do you know, for Google AI, is now reading your emails if you've got Gmail. I'm like, no! You have to turn off smart filters or something to stop it. So here we go. We got a bunch of these dudes here. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to bring down our BRB just in a moment. I've got to go into the attic and get the model that I'm going to be using as a reference. Let's go. I am back. So I had to go into that attic where the model was. But hello, the mongoose. Animal Crossing Tyranid first contact. I think it'll go quite well. The Tyranids will find a nice... So this is a reference model. This model we spent ages trying to figure out how to get the yellow correct on it. I'm going to ignore that process and start a different process. Actually, maybe not, because this yellow looks really nice, actually, doesn't it? Like, that's a really nice looking skin tone for the Tyranids. And then you got all the blue shiny bits on it. I like the purple. The purple is nice. Oh. Pretty, kind of psychedelic. Yeah. It's better than my previous colour scheme attempt. So, like, this was the previous attempt before it. Yeah, it's not very nice. I was testing out a lot, so this was, like, the predecessor to this model. You can see the purple's fine, it's just... We don't have all the cool blue to the same extent. And we don't have... The yellow's just... A lot of experimentation. We kind of got close to what I wanted, but this was just much better in every single regard. Lichter, they ate her whole family. No. Ah. Hi, TA, how you doing? Oh my god, he sounded like he said, let's go. That's so cute. Yay! Okay, where's the other one? Oh, still got here. One of my first Tyranid paint jobs. Well, off this lot. Like, this is what the skin tone used to be. And I like what I got going here. Like, that looks really nice with all the armor plating and all the shininess of a Magel's purple. Like, the back, really loving it. Really loving all the exoskeleton stuff. Could have been a bit more, not as over top with the blood stuff. The blues, though, I mean, the eyes are fine. The blues are kind of, they're not as bright. They need to be brighter. And I think that's partly because of just how light this skin colour is. It looks sickly and gross. Like, if I was painting Nurgly stuff, this would be fine. But for Tyranids, I'm not really happy with it. And it also just, it really didn't just look good. It just looks weird and splodgy, and I don't like the skin tone at all. But we eventually got to this skin tone. The Tyranid looks like they crave some Terminator flesh. No, don't eat my Terminators! Honestly, not doing great, Cupcon, but trying my best regardless. Oh, that's sad to hear. Big love hearts for me. I hope you like things get better for you, TA. And I hope like that the stream helps cheer you up. Oh gosh, there we go. I would not do family friendly things to a lictor. You would do not family friendly, like bolt guns. Well, these aren't lictors, they're from Ryan Leapers, so they're like baby lictors. Like, where's the actual full-size lictor? This is a Neuro lictor, or at least my conversion attempt of one. Do I have a full-size lictor down here? No, I don't for full-size lictors up in the attic. I already closed it up, I'm not getting it. But yeah, these things are so much smaller. And like a lictor is like this tall. Size comparison. Well, at least the model is, because it has to be on the same, because I got like this carrying case for from Magnetic one, and it's the lictor's as tall as this thing, and like my other big creatures that are inside that carry case in terms of height. So yeah, these things much smaller. No, you would kiss a lictor before it ate you? No! I like these faces of the lictors. I really love these, you know, blah, gotta numb you all faces with all the tentacles coming out. I like that on the lictors and on my Gene Stealers. I always choose that for the Gene Stealer face when I get a choice. You might need to be more saturated. Yeah, this guy needs more saturation. What I'm thinking about doing, this guy was painted Nastrag yellow. I can't remember what, I think it's iodine yellow or something like that. And then Agrax Earthshade. Of the 3 colours that went to make the yellow on this skin. And it took quite a lot of work to get it going, but what I'm thinking is going Nastrag yellow, then Bad Moon yellow. Also, this guy was painted black as an undercoat, so that didn't help at all. So I ended up painting brown over the top of them, and then went with was it Nastrag yellow, or did I paint for, I think it might have been a solid yellow colour first. Then Nastrag, then the solid yellow colour again. And a little tiny bit of very faint iodine. Of, is it Dawn Yellow? I can't remember the colour names very well. I need this. Oops, I just whacked the neuro thing. Okay, that's been used too much. Let's put it to one side. But let's look. What are the yellows? Yeah, this was the yellow I originally used for Tyranid. Dawn yellow. Kind of sucked. This was the yellow Uriel yellow. That's it. The Uriel yellow. I'm thinking this is going to be the yellow we focus on. But I've also got this Bad Moon yellow that works really nicely. And I'm thinking Nastrag. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint all the purples first. Quite carefully. Then I'm with Severus purple. Where is Severus purple? This is for one. Severus purple. I got a big old box here full of paints. Ugh. And then over that, well, we need some Majos purple for it. Obviously. Hi, Talan. Whoa, why so many nids here? Did someone forget the doors open? No, this is like nids I undercoated ages and ages ago. They've been here waiting. In fact, they're dusty. You think all of this brown on thumbs for primer. No, they were primed in white. They're just super dusty. And I keep them in the attic where it's got more fiberglass dust on them. Okay, what's the colours I want? There's Genestealer purple somewhere in here, I believe. Genestealer purple, Genestealer purple, Genestealer purple, where are you? Is it in here? It might not be, actually. Okay, Carenberg Crimson Red. That'd be interesting to... Oh yeah, for blues of this, if you want to know, it's made using mostly Talassar blue. And... where is it? Very light coloured blue. Bahamut blue or something like that. This one. Yeah, Bahamut blue. It also, like, for the sheeniness of the skin here... Well, one, I went over a bit of Covex White, like very light over it. But for the dark, sheeny, glowy bit, well, not glowy bit, it's just a very watered down red, just purple. But then I went over again. So that was only the crevices that had it. And I think the Mad Just Purple gave it quite a nice shade and made it look kind of gross. The skin colour... I think I used a Glacier Blue on it and then very watered down Talassar Blue just over the same sort of skin tone, except I went for a less saturated version and did utilise this colour to try and get like the very thin skin flaps, and then went over the edges with white to try and show it's like glowing through. Didn't do it super well. I tried doing it here as well, but couldn't get the effect I was going for on the edges of the skin there, because I felt it would be glowing a bit more in those areas. Hello, Emil. How you doing? The ancient primed Nidsk. Yee. They've been primed forever. Oh, I also think I want to do what I did here, where we go through to yellow, to blue, to purple for those tentacles on the face. And I'm wondering if I want to give them blue eyes or not, or stick with the red eyes. But what am I looking for right now? Okay, I don't know if it's in this box. I've got like this big old plastic box that I have full of paints and stuff. And this is where I also keep like my modelling stuff. Like these types of things, basing raffle, and my silicone stuff. Genestealer purple, Nagaroth Knight. Ooh, no. Genestealer purple. We'll stick with what we know. Here we go. Gene Stealer purple. That's a very nice purple colour. Is this one I used before? Yeah, that's broken. That's open. Very nice getting the lighter purples of that. And then what I want, I think is Administratum Grey. Yeah, Administratum Grey is what I used on like this dude. Where it's like on the edges and stuff there. Where we get all the lighter running grey on it. So what it is, it's Serra's purple, an effectively dry brush, a heavier dry brush of Gene Stealer purple, and a lighter dry brush all going one direction, or generally like that, of the Administratum Grey. I'm gonna go do the purples first, and then I put Major's purple over it, but mostly focused on getting Major's purple into all the crevices, because that's where it's going to be the sheeniest and slimiest. That guy over there is an Emperor's Children. I mean, he could be a Son of Dawn that joined the Emperor's Children. What's that from Army Painter? Yeah! They're from Army Painter. That's where I get all my gravelly stuff from, because I just much prefer it over the painted gravel. You know, for one where you use the technical stuff. I don't believe there's any rules at any tournaments about your basing materials. There might be, but I'm just not aware of them if there are. I don't get what you think about why I hate stuff. I don't hate Army Painter. I just generally prefer to use what's known, that's the Citadel paints. Citadel brushes I do hate. Army Painter brushes aren't much better. If you want really good high-end brushes, my opinion is the Series 7 Sable for, what they're called, Winsor and Newton. Are really, really good. They're expensive though, but if you ever want to splash out on a brush, they're amazing. Just make sure to keep them clean and not damage them. You never want to get paint in this metal part. If you do, that's when the brush starts going crazy. You're a Tempestus Scion. An expensive brush is better than a cheap brush. It depends sometimes. There have definitely been cheap brushes that I have found much better than the expensive ones. Like for dry brushing, this set of these synthetic dry brushes, they've been really good for me. It's like, they're just good. I like them. They're the best dry brushes I've ever had. And they're relatively cheap. Equally, like these big fat brushes like Citadel do, they're actually not bad at all. I don't mind these brushes. I wouldn't go for these ones though, because, I mean, I got these free with us. I say free. They came with us Combat Patrol magazines. But generally, any brush that's like, you know, got a fat head like this and isn't just super, well, some of the super cheap ones are fine, but like the Citadel ones Citadel brushes are always overpriced for what they are. In my opinion. For one thing from Citadel, what I actually do really like though, it's these shade brushes. They're really good. They're really good for shading. I don't find them bad at all. Hello, Dr. Smilets. I'm not a fan of those plastic handles on Citadel brushes. Are they actually plastic? Yeah, they are plastic. I'm not sure if this one's plastic or not. It feels more wooden. But I'm not sure. Yeah, because this one's not bad, but I'm pretty sure you can get better ones cheaper or just as good as it. I love Army Painter. Every time someone says something bad about Army Painter, I rip off my shirt to reveal my heart tattoo with Army Painter written on it. We're painting buggos. Yeah, well, we're talking about painting buggos. But yeah, if you want to do this type of colour scheme I'm going for, you may... Oh, where's the Nastrag Yellow? That's what we need today. The main base colours I'm using are... Where is it? Is it this one? Skeleton Hard. Fish one. No, actually, Ish Purple. Nastrag Yellow. There we go. Nastrag Yellow. Yeah, these are the basic paints to do my colour scheme. This is all that you need. My show of love is cutting deep into my shirt budget. No! I understand it. I understand that. Wait, did someone call me stinky? It's Bob. Oh, Bob is here. Hi, Bob. You called me stinky. I only noticed you, sorry, Bob, because I was crying. I'm like, why am I crying? Who called me stinky? Bob must be here. Can we get leopard print depth? Maybe I can do one of these leopard print. Or maybe I can do my Lictor leopard print. Oh, that would be good. I don't want to do it like on the entire models because I got lots of models to paint and leopard print's just going to take forever. Remind me when we're on to the Lictor in like 10 years or something. I'll paint it. I've just got to do this to all of the models first though, just to get rid of the dust. If it is actually any dust on them. I keep them in a relatively sealed container, magnetic case. But doesn't stop it getting dusty in there. Especially all the super glue dust that gets onto them. Big after putting the glue magnets on. Leopard print to Lictor. Boss. It's Bossin if you want to switch me to my boss model. Frozen Tyranids. Frozen Tyranids. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, for paints. It goes this paint, Ceres purple, then Gene Stealer purple, then Dry Brush, Administratum grey, then Major's purple. Where the skin is Nastrag yellow. Well, first Dry Brush it, potentially with this. Nastrag yellow, then over that's going to be Bad Moon yellow, and then I'm going to try fixing it up with Uriel yellow. Oh, I need Agrex Earthshade and Noon Oil as well. Well, for blues is any area that wants to be blue, get this onto it, and then just throw that slightly watered down Tolosaur blue onto it. If you want it shiny, put some Magos purple into the crevices, and then go back over a bit of this and a bit of this. Bossin. Bossin. Yeah. Do you like how I figured out how I don't need to get my drink out every single time? Making sure they're not dusty. They don't feel or look too dusty, but they have also been sat on my shelf for like a week. Like ever since I started the schedule, I made sure I got them out. Oh, this one's a bit dusty. Yeah. When our paints to stick properly, we need to make sure they're just not dusty. I actually do have a set of brushes that will be really good for this. I used them for my manga. But they're actually quite expensive because they're imported from Japan. From a really high quality brush company. And they got like this cool rollout bamboo case. To be honest, they're kind of okay for the price. Hello, Even IT Banana. UK import tax sucks. Well, the import tax wasn't the big thing. It's just the fact, well, the shipping was quite big because you're shipping a single product from Japan. But the thing is, the brushes themselves are just expensive, like for these high quality manga brushes that like most of the people who make traditional manga use. Because if you don't know, I used to make traditional manga. And then had to import it to digital manga as well. I've still got loads of screen tone I bought in from Japan. Oh my gosh, trying to get the correct screen tone was difficult though. Had to learn Japanese. There we go. Hello, Alcazar! Martkin was one of the potential Norscan DLC lords before Sal was revealed. He used to be the king of Norsca before Archaon was chosen. Yeah, but isn't he like dead or something? It would be a bit weird for them to bring him in my opinion. Okay, so these are the two purple. No, not those two. These are the two purples I'm going to use straight away. Oh darn, I forgot to get water. So you go over here. So I can constantly look at you and reference you. Markin was another comment. Scroll. See, I confirmed Markin is dead in lore, by the way. Now if there's a landmark of his grave, no more Norsca DLC. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect him to come around because he was always like meant to be dead before Archaon came along. Like his entire story was like he got the power of the gods, used it to smite some enemies, like somebody who destroyed his village or something, and then he just was like, you know, that's it. I'm gonna just die now. I'm not gonna become your demons or anything. Another day, another batch of Terminators. This batch looks a bit different. Miss, I would never show my work, but I love talking about it. Wait, is that reference to my manga or the fact that we've talked about making these guys, but we're not actually painted them yet? I'm gonna get some water. Got water. It's for the brushes. He died how he lived. Off screen. True. There are some other Chaos gods that... characters, sorry, not gods. That could potentially come about. If DW lets CA do it. Although they'd have to work very closely with Forge World. Because, do you know where you got Tarmacan? We're meant to be 3 other champions of Chaos that were to follow Tarmacan. But then, you know, they decided to kill off Fantasy. You're basically doing elaborate all day today. Ooh, hey, that sounds kind of fun. I hope. Maybe a base coat to saturated yellow to start off. No, what I'm going to be doing is first I want to get all the purples done because I'm using a non-contrast paint for the purples. The only way I can really do it is by painting the purple. Then what I'm going to do, get the Ceres purple, and once that's finished, I'm going to get Administratum grey and dry brush the entire model, including all the bits I'm going to do yellow. And then I'm going to do Nasdrag yellow over it in hopes of making all the underparts darker. And then I'm going to do Bad Moon yellow over that in hopes of making all the upper parts brighter and saturated. And then I'm going to go over that with Uriel Yellow, trying to make sure I don't go into any of the crevices. And then to basically just do highlights, add a bit more saturation, then probably a very watered down Avgrex Earth shade to really darken up the crevices again when it comes to the yellow. But I want to get the purples done first, or at least the darker purples. I'm gonna bring up a quick look at what the Ryan Leapers look like on the website, just to know where the purple's meant to be, because it's a bit confusing, like is this entire thing meant to be purple or not? It gets repetitive. Aww. We need more buff corn models. All corn models are pretty buff, aren't they? Xenosawmies. Ryan Leapers. Okay, so underneath it's all fleshy. That's good to know. That's probably where I want to have a lot of yellow, blue too as well then. And then it's only a tiny bit on top of the head that is also like that. I'm just going to put this over here so I can constantly look at it. Reference. You have to go now. Bye-bye, Dr. Smilex. It's nice of you to be here. Cornplayers wanted more models of screaming ripped guys without sleeves. That's like for custody players. Oh my gosh, it's raining really heavily outside. I've got my windows open because it's boiling today. Like 8 degrees outside. It's ridiculous. Meant to be winter. Where's my cold weather, eh? I'm motivated, Dad. Oh my gosh, all of these messages being held for a few. Better than... Yeah, but most of them are dated and the demons aren't that buff. The skinniest demonettes. To be fair, I think that's meant to be the scary thing about like the bloodletters. They are very fast. You underestimate them because they are skinny. But yeah, it's better than the Fire Slayers wanting naked buff sharp men. It's dark already. Welcome to the dark and grim UK winter. Yeah, I mean it is dark, it's just not cold. Custodians want their boys to look like oiled up Greek men. Oiled up Socrates. Don't look outside your window after 5 PM in the UK. You will see the... No, you won't see the weather. It's just pitch black out there. But one thing I don't like about painting Tyranids is how hard sometimes it is to tell what's even meant to be what. Like, is this a fleshy piece or is this a carapace piece? When you decide on something, and then like 10 models later, you're having to remember what you decided on. Oh gosh, that was a long message. Hi Longstocks, how you doing? Thoughts on ethically cleansing for Ogwins? No! No, there's no such thing! Off word of Adele rhymes with boink and soink. What does soink mean? Soink, Scoob! I don't know, man. Warhammer really having you talking about stuff? Puff is getting sued by Tech over stealing her word of a day. Hi, Fuan. How you doing? Oh. No, we love Ogwins. Even the Templars love Ogwins. Don't worry about it. Like that comic about the goat girl who meets the Templar and the Templars like cute goat girl. Loves the Emperor. Protect the goat girl. Okay, this is gonna take a while to paint all the purple bits as purple. It's gonna be fine. I wanted to get this done before the stream, but I just didn't get around to it, unfortunately. I've been writing though. If I keep writing and just keep doing exposition, I'm like, I don't want to do exposition, but that's what I keep defaulting to. I just want story. There we go. Look at that big old talon. I don't trust the Imperium. Thoughts of joining Sinch? Sinch a great god. Very no, Sinch is like the worst god to follow. I think after that it's probably Nurgle. Then Slanesh. Then none of the gods are good to follow. The reason Nurgle's bad to follow is because Nurgle will just keep deceasing you until you die, effectively. Most of people just die or become mindless drones. Very few become like Typhus or the Tool Lords. Oh, I do love this Ceres purple shade though, it's a very nice colour. Honestly, the Rat God might be the best god to follow if you're a Skaven at least. Because Sinch effectively just messes with you. Sinch doesn't want to help you. The people most likely to be harmed by Sinch are Sinch's own followers. Slanesh likes to mess with and torture the followers, but generally only the ones that really catch the eyes. Most of the basic Slaneshi followers are just going to fall into excess, and you're probably going to be, I want to say fine's a very strong word, but you're probably not going to be tortured that badly as long as you stay out of the way of like some of the worst guys in the, you know, Slaneshes cults. Hi, big guy, how are you? I don't think there's a good Chaos God to follow. It will always come back to bite you. Khorne really just doesn't care about you. Even his most beloved, he really doesn't like. The only exception is actually probably women. The women of Khorne, like Khorne's brides as they call them, generally do end up doing pretty well, as long as Korn likes them. Like Valkyria and stuff like that. Korn doesn't do a lot to actually, you know, mess with them. But, like... or Korn the Betrayer and Angron, though. Korn just loves to just make their lives living hells. Yes, Korn is alright, angry guy and all that. I long for infinite knowledge. Yeah, also, the other thing about Korn is if you're not going out and really pillaging and destroying stuff for him, like, even if you get a bit sick of it or you need a rest, Korn might just get upset at you and turn you into a spawn. It happens quite a lot. And even if you're a relatively small follower, that can happen. Like, often the followers of Korn are kind of cursed by Korn more than they're blessed by him. Well, the thing is Korn for your average guy is far less likely to go out of his way just to make your day bad. Nurgle will do that, saying it's a gift. The Betrayer. Yeet. Conjuror forgot Korn's favourite little guy, Arbol. If Arbol ever loses or runs away from a fight, he gets turned into a chaos spawn. That's literally the big threat to him. He's not allowed to have a break. He's not allowed to do anything. He gets turned into it. That's literally canonical. Okay, these are purple for little spikes. I need to paint all of those little spikes purple. No, Korn doesn't want you to kill until death. He wants you to keep killing until you die. And then after you die, he wants you to continue that cycle all over again. If you're lucky, you get to become a bloodletter. In which case, non-stop killing for you. If you do get let into Korn's garden and he doesn't take a very strong liking to you, mostly because you're a woman, then you're basically just having to fight in his garden for all eternity until your soul gets devoured. There is no long rest with Korn. Slaanesh, though, as soon as you die under Slaanesh, your soul is basically getting devoured by a demonette. Unless you can become lucky enough to become a demonette yourself, or a demon, or a demon prince. Your soul is going to be used as a torture device, effectively, or going to be tortured, sorry, for all eternity. If you're lucky with Slaanesh. It's like, there really isn't a good god to go with. I mean, the Skaven god is generally not kind to its followers, but I don't think it's got to the same extent of just... Although I don't really know much about the Horned Rat. The Horned Rat for a long time in Warhammer lore was kind of more mythological. We didn't really know if it even existed properly. Korn wants Hans' dog. That sounds fun, actually. Arbol lived 3,000 years and had fun. He is having a ton of fun and loves doing what he does. True, but he's still not allowed to have any rest. It's a bit like Korn the Betrayer. He loves what he kind of loves what he does. He does what he does, and he's going to do it whether Korn's there or not. But with Korn being there, he has no choice. I mean, you can argue, though, that like most of the followers of everyone but Sinch, and this is why Sinch is the worst, is that Khan's followers, they're forced to do what they do, but they love it, and Khan's blessing running through them just makes them love it even more. Or at least drives them to such rage that they don't really have a choice anymore. Hi Mal, how you doing? You going to bed? Good night. And hello Dark Women, how you doing?
Cupcake! Yay!
Oh my gosh, member for 9 months. Thank you so much. Big love heart to you. It's Gus the Horn Rat is just for Skaven, and the Skaven are so cartoonishly evil, but the evil Chaos God looks taming by comparison. Yeah. I have a unit I don't like. I prefer Marines. Oh, you don't like the Death Leapers? Oh, Ryan Leapers, sorry. I don't mind them. Although I do like my Tyranids. It was one of my first armies. So... there we go. That looks nice. We created your own custom chapter. Nice! Oh yeah, with Nurgle, he bestows you with gifts and stuff, and you're most likely to just become a mindless drone. Well, thing is while you're still under Nurgle's control, you don't really realise the downsides of any of his gifts. Instead, you just feel his blessing, and you're always like in this sort of kind of euphoric state where you don't really see the real world anymore. So at least there's a little bit of protection for you. Slaanesh as well. It's like generally you fall into Slaanesh because you like this excess that you're into. Then you get even more into it, and Slaanesh's blessings just makes you act even more like that. And whatever happens, even if you're being tortured, you're most likely going to enjoy it. Not always, especially if Slaanesh does take a liking to you, in which case Slaanesh will take joy from your pain and suffering. Or at least Slaanesh's demons will. But there's a good chance that most of your time with Slaanesh, you'll just be having fun, even if you're being tortured. So... but Tzeentch though, Tzeentch doesn't care. Tzeentch isn't going to make you enjoy what you're doing. Tzeentch is going to be happy if you stop enjoying what you're doing and force you to do it anyway. Would me stinky. Good night, Mal. Conjuror secretly a Nurgle. I'm not a Nurgle worshipper. Wish I was Fulgrim instead. Yeah, Fulgrim seems to be having a good time. He's probably the one Primarch that seems to be having a very good time with the Chaos God. Like... Magnus... or maybe Magnus likes being with Tzeentch, but I don't get the feeling he is from what I've read. I've not read a lot of Magnus's books though, so I wouldn't really know. I know Mentarian has this weird relationship with Nurgle. Angron also has a weird relationship with Khorne. I don't think any of the champions of the Chaos Gods for Space Marines are actually, you know, having a good time though. Wait, Fulgrim as in loyalist or ex-loyalist? I want my BL back, loyalist. Yeah. The rest of 1,000 Suns, even in Space Marine 2, are mythical. They don't have emblems. Yeah, for Thousand Suns. For only Thousand Suns that are still really about, are for Sorceress. For normal Thousand Suns you fight to basically just bust, whose souls barely exist anymore. They don't really seem to function properly without one of the sorcerers commanding them. From what I've heard anyway. I might be wrong in those statements. Cutie bleeping noises, yeah! Cuptle's still stuck speaking in Animal Crossing language. Plus the Stream Elements API is down. Assumed it was something like that. But it's been confirmed. Oh my gosh, I'm taking forever to paint this one claw. Because it's fleshy underneath, so I don't want to paint the fleshy bit in purple because it's going to be annoying to make them yellow if there's already purple there. I don't want to paint all those spikes in purple too. I probably should. I don't mind too much for being yellow on for purple. That's fine by me. Hi Tail, how you doing? Oh my gosh, you don't need to talk about Fulgrim, ex-Fulgrim stuff and so on. Please. Keep it family friendly. You silly billies. Okay, painting little spikes on these things is not fun. I can barely even tell where the spikes are. Boys holding hands. Look, holding hands is like the worst thing ever. Not family friendly at all. There's an entire internet meme about why it's censored. There we go. The spikes are coming along. Oh my gosh, that took so long to paint them. Yeah, as you can see, I'm painting the spikes. Oh, you can't even see when I paint the spikes. Like that angle, you can't even tell I'm painted from that angle. Yeet. It's a bit messy under there, but it's fine. We're allowed to be messy. Okay, you can stop debating about biological buffers. The chat went really quick. Fulgrim and Ferrus. Manus. Yeah, Ferrus, Manus, and Fulgrim are both sons of the Emperor. They're brothers, quite literally. There's no two ways about it. I'll put an end to that discussion right now. There we go. All Primarchs are sons of the Emperor and all related to one another. Gilliman, Rogaldorn, Ferrus Manus, Fulgrim, Angron, Magnus, Lionel Johnson. Love the purple. Yes, Severus purple is a very nice colour. This is what we're going to eventually go for, this colour scheme here. But it starts with getting Sheriff's purple all over the chitin part of the model. I feel like I accidentally snapped one of the little mouths off this guy. Where's another one? Oh yeah, he does have one of these snapped off. Oh no, wait a minute. Let's just make sure that that's not actually the same character. This one's the same character. Yeah. Oh no. No. Yeah, he does. Meant to be down there, but he doesn't have that one. This didn't go offline for a second for anyone else. Oh. Doesn't show that it went offline for me. Been having a lot of weird connection issues recently. I think it's been affecting my views and stuff as well. At least how much YouTube's advertising the stream. Oh gosh, my screen went off for a second. Could be the weather. It's causing issues. I'll ask my father about her internet service provider. Oh gosh, I just realised that's not meant to be purple. Ah, whatever. Fine. It's one of 9 models. Hi Redneck Kratos, how you doing? Painting plastic toys, yee! Every hour or so, like 3 ads, I kind of have to rewatch the VOD to get what we're talking about sometimes. Oh no. Yeah, YouTube's gotten crazy with the adverts lately. I've been thinking maybe I should just turn off adverts. And I've been having an issue personally where whenever an advert starts on a stream, I have to reload the stream to get back to it. Like after the adverts finish, it will just load infinitely for some reason. Don't know if anyone's been having that issue. Yeah, the ads get me revenue. It's only a small amount per stream, but with the amount I stream, it adds up very quickly. The drill spiral in your VTuber model looks like a certain red Vocaloid. Oh, I don't know which one that is, sorry. It's actually meant to be a cupcake. Do you know frosting? Like ice, or like an ice cream thing? It's meant to be like that. And that's why it's covered in sprinkles. Because my hair's not frosting. Time to don't abduct the cupcakes, they're friends, not abductees. That the word? No, the Terminators are still around. The Terminators are still around. We're building from at the we're just taking a little break between the Terminator streams to, you know, paint models that need to be painted. We've still got plenty to build of the Terminators. Don't worry about it. Oh my gosh, this is going to take forever to paint, isn't it? I need some water. We've got how many left? We've got 21 down. We're up to like 81 left. Do you want to see the Terminator that we built yesterday, the captain? I finished him off after the clay dried. The Terminators again infected. No, they're not. The Terminators would destroy these Tyranids. After the purple peas. I'm just going to do this carve and I can show you the other dude. It won't take long. There we go. Claw is done. Oh, bit by bit. Well, here you go. The dude who was on the clay base is here. I put like some stuff like elder head, a skull there, a skull there, a skull there. It's looking kind of cool to me. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of skulls here. World Eater. I imagine it was like fighting World Eaters here, and that's why there's skulls everywhere. And like neatly lined up and stuff. Oh, but you're various. How big is he next to a Tyranid? Death Leaper stands no chance. See. Cupcakes voucher in open for blast doors. What's this? My cat is resting on my legs, warm on this chilly morning. Gosh, you love this time of year. I like the winter. The winter's nice. Need some water here. There we go. I'm still not over my sniffles and stuff though, which is sad. I was hoping by the time it became winter I would be. Cheese base. It's not cheese, it's covered in clay now. So you're a cannibal. You're not a cannibal because you don't eat cupcakes. Cupcakes not allowed to eat them, you silly Billy. You need some water to water down this paint a little. There we go. What's the paint not wanting to stick to the model? It's primed, it should be sticking perfectly. I'm struggling to get it off the brush. The Tyranids are fighting for lactose intolerant marine. That's why they have a cheese base. No, it's not true. Oh, that guy over there has to go. Be back for next stream. Bye bye, that guy over there. Hope you have a good rest of your day. There's something I could do that might help people. Although it might make people far behind on the streams. Enable DVR. That way there's an ad that you can always go back a few seconds. Although personally I do find it makes me fall behind on streams when I'm watching streams. That was an issue a while ago. Maybe it's not the same anymore. Are the Tyranids edible? Technically, I guess so. I think they're quite poisonous and like full of acids and stuff, but you know, process it enough and I think anything is edible. Oh gosh. No. I don't have to be too careful because I could always go back over the Ushabti bone. Over all of the places where, you know, I went a bit too overzealous with the purple. We don't want those spiky bits at the back of the foot to be purple. Let's look. Can I see you guys? Okay, they're not on the official models, so keep it where it is now. Oh, Termintide 2 is free on Steam. We have big love hearts to everybody. Big love hearts. We got foot done. I then go over this part here and that part there. Then I think I'll do the tail. Then fish back part. Oh, got that little thing. I'll do this. A little elbow thing. Oh gosh, that's way too much paint. And just keep doing this. Yeah, maybe I should get a different purple contrast. Just for one thing I love about contrast paints is it makes this process a lot quicker. So I can find like a dark purple contrast paint. Because if it being a much more watered down paint, but also still very high pigment density, it's very good at just like filling in all the gaps and stuff that just a normal layer paint will struggle with. Layer paints are great for dry brushing. And they're great for adding highlights and stuff. When doing like these initial coats, it takes a little bit of time. Actually, I might just look up a good layer, a good purple contrast. Major's purple. It's very shiny when it goes on, so I don't really like using it as like the base layer. But let's look. More build and paint. Open link in new tab. Just looking at paints right now. Looking at paint. Okay, so we click contrast, filter, purple. Oh, Shaiish purple. Shaiish purple is a lot darker than that, in my opinion. Major's purple, it has this really nice shiny thing to it. That's too burgundy and but look, purple looks like it could be good actually. I don't have any of that. Luxian purple. Remind me to get some Luxian purple at some point. Hi, Yoxafoff. I just realised Tyranid in Chaos Pots make great Simus creation. I don't know what that is, sorry. Siamai. Actually, you know what? I could check how Major's purple looks when it goes on to a model, just as a base thing. Because it looks almost black when I've used it in the past. But let's give it a good old shake. Let's look. Like, look at it. That looks like a black paint, doesn't it? It's Shaiish purple. Should probably clean the brush first, but whatever. Yeah, it looks very dark. Not quite as black as it appears on screen, looking at my OBS. Oh my gosh, that's heavy rain outside. Okay, yeah, like if we look at it, it's not as good as the purple. No, I don't like it. Say mice. Can you hear the rain? Oh my goodness. Just give me a moment, I can try. Oh my goodness. Oh, it sounds so amazing. Oh my god, can you still hear it? Sounds like hail or worse. No, it's just a storm. Okay, now that stopped a little bit. Oh my goodness. That's was insane. Quieting down again. I know, that's just British weather for you. That's just a light rain. It's just a light rain. Don't worry about it. That's like, I don't think even my cats would want to go out in that weather. Actually, same. Don't even think my cats would want to. Yeah, my cats are very. They love to go out. One of them especially just hates the rain and the cold and getting wet or anything. Like even the slightest bit of water touches her, she runs. Oh yeah, the Simulates are vampires that can sculpt flesh like clay. They can sculpt flesh like clay. Thus, they often change their bodies in ways they deem pleasing. But they also make weapons of war by sculpting and gluing together multiple bodies. Ooh. That sounds like the Dark Eldar in 40k, like the homunculus cult. And yeah, people love to use Tyranid and Chaos bits for the Dark Eldar homunculus cult. Partly because there's barely any models for Dark Eldar. You have to make do with what you've got. The Dark Eldar are basically vampires in 40k and the fact that they feed on suffering. Don't feed on blood, but it's very similar. There we go. Werewolves and all. Garrow. Garrow is the name of a character in One Punch Man, who's currently being animated at 1 frame a minute in season 3. Oh gosh. Specifically the sliding scene. Oh my gosh. The sliding scene's funny. Now, some of the things I do definitely think you're just taking stuff out of context here. It's are you poking at, like, you know, certain bad scenes? A bit like people did with Invincible with Amazon and stuff. Like, yeah, a lot of animes, if they're not like the biggest budget ones, they're gonna have some issues and areas. But the big issues for me is like when you're looking at the fight scenes and stuff, and it's just copy and pasted fire gif everywhere, or it's just the exact same scene just looped, and it's like a half-second scene looped for like 2 minutes, and it's like, oh. And every so often you do see a bit of good animation, but all it looks really out of place amongst all the other, or just highlights how bad the rest of the animation is around it. Are you sure? Yeah. Because animation is hard work and stuff. As much as we love One Punch Man. Going to have issues. There we go. But you just got so much. Weird stuff. I think the biggest issue though is that like a lot of animation can if you got a good eye, you can see where a lot of the issues that are being called out in like One Punch Man, Invincibles and stuff. You can find them in like almost any anime. But the thing is that they're generally disguised in some way or there's something going on to make it look nicer than what it actually is. But the way it's very jarring in One Punch Man when these scenes stop. You know, it's just lip flaps moving on a character's face. Because they've not done a lot to disguise these things. It feels very amateur in a lot of ways. Like someone described it as like, this feels like a passion project that someone worked years on. Or, you know, tried to get out in a year. But it's like one person. An amateur. It's like, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. If this was made by an amateur in the free time, it's amazing. But since it's a work designed and developed by people, it's very amateurish. No, the studio between 1 and 2 changed. It's the same studio as season 2, but they had even less time and apparently an even smaller budget for season 3. It's been 6 years since season 2, but that's because Bandai Namco, the owners, apparently were shopping around at various studios for ages. Until finally going back to JC's staff and being like, hey. But now JC's staff, they get a lot of flack. But they're not actually bad animators. Like, I've seen other stuff that they've produced and they've got really good animation. The question is how come One Punch Man doesn't? It's not like they're not used to doing action stuff either. One of the things I have heard is that they had to outsource a lot of it because of, you know, how much work it was in 8 months to like Chinese studios and stuff on the cheap. But generally, when it comes to things like this, I wouldn't blame like the individual animators. Most of the time, animators are going to do the best they can on the limited time that they actually within the purview of what they've been given. It's just mixed together, kind of. I mean, it's not unusual for studios to outsource stuff. Like, if you've watched any sort of, like, slice of life dancing anime or whatever, and you suddenly realise you go all 3D at one point to dance, or the animation style suddenly changes, that's usually just because they've outsourced it to a different studio to do those scenes. It's a very common thing to do, because you've only got a limited amount of time to work on a project. And it's definitely not uncommon to see like scenes that are considered less important in the anime, but potentially they take a while, like 2 characters talking to one another. or a bunch of characters sat around, just handing out exposition effectively. It's not uncommon to have those scenes outsourced to a different studio, so that you don't have to spend your time that you could be working on the cool action scenes or whatever, doing this boring, still time-consuming part of the process. Isekai sucks now. Arguably, it always has done. I wouldn't say Isekai sucks entirely. I think we're just overloaded with it, and there's a lot of very boring Isekai out there. You had that one anime, not really my cup of tea, but it's like the very first Isekai ever. But that's because it was a manga. I say the first Isekai, like the big Japanese manga that popularized Isekai. But eventually it got an anime, but it was like after so many other ones. And that's, I say it's relatively recent, a few years ago now. You have the slice, I like the slice of life ones, they're pretty nice. Like, do you know the Slime Witch one? That's pretty cool. Hi Mercury, how you doing? It went to overrated status. You get it on by T-Rex. Oh my gosh, that sounds funny. I can't say that other one, and for the love of money, and you haven't done nothing. That means you've done something. But I think we're just lacking a few unique ones. I really love the spider anime one. So I'm a spider, so what? I loved the manga. Overlord's really nice. I like Overlord. The anime did go down massively in quality, but it's just one of those things. Still got good music. You're good. You still listen to music. Yeah. But for animes, for isekais, I really don't like. Or do you know, for ones like the smartphone one and the stuff like that, I just find them very uninventive. I don't really like the slime one. I know the slime one was really popular, but I just didn't like it. Whatever his name is, where he became a slime. That's why I only listen to music, not watch shows or anime. It's been ages since I actually watched any proper anime, to be honest. Like, sat down and watched a lot. I can't remember what the last one was. It might have been Dragon Ball. There's a lot of really cool music that comes from animes. Like, I really love the Psychopath Abnormalize song. And the, well, basically linking, I can't remember what they're called. Something over. For people, they made Abnormalize and they made them something else for the Tokyo Ghoul one. Rewind? That time I got reincarnated to slime. Yeah. It's doing some build up, which is why its new season was boring. Now, I didn't even like it after the first season. I kind of liked the first few episodes, but then it felt too, like it went a bit too harem-y. I don't really like harem animes. And the character became too overpowered too quick. I mean, I like Overlord with the overpowered characters, but that's partly because they're also kind of the bad guys. And that is a really fun concept. One of the things I absolutely loved about So What, I'm a Spider Now or whatever is as much as just overlooking at the side characters we got to see, and again, the main character's kind of a good guy, kind of a bad guy, and it's... you're looking at all these different characters' points of views, and that's really, really cool. And it's like they're all on different sides of one another. And it's like, oh, I loved that. So it's like, yeah, you do get your overpowered protagonist, but then you've got your underpowered characters over here. And you've got your chosen one flipped upside down as well. It was all really interesting. Reno, by the end of the novel, ended up with only one girl, though. Excluding his weird AI. Yeah. I mean, I get that. Like, a lot of harem animes, or these types of things, if they only end up with one girl in the end. A lot of them end up that way, but I just don't really like the entire thing off. It's not my cup of tea. It's definitely not written for me. Remo's meant to die. Ooh. Yeah, it was an interesting anime. But there's a lot of interesting animes out there, but they end up just becoming very what's the word for it? I guess sexualized in weird ways, and it's just like you got this really interesting, cool premise, and you're just focusing on this very mundane stuff, but whatever. But I like my slice of life animes. Oh, Bocchi no Rock was a cool slice of life anime. Really fun animation style to it as well. That's kind of slice of life, kind of not slice of life. Build that slice of light bitch, I forget though. 8 harems though, except. Yeah, the harems. And there have been a couple of harem animes I have liked, but that's just more because it's silly. Dragon Maid is probably one of them. Cupcake has a silly face. Yee! Vulture's great memes. But for the one where she turns 3D and is just thrown through a wall. Oh, that's hilarious. The save voice seems glitched. It's not glitched. It's Cuptle is broken. Like the normal voice I'd use for Cuptle is unfortunately just not working at the moment. So I changed it to the Animal Crossing voice. So it just translates whatever you're saying to Animal Crossing language. Animalese as it's called. You're so exhausted. Oh, I hope you have a good rest, Mercury. There we go. I'll be okay. I just want to listen to music. I hope you get some good music then. I'm glad you enjoy your music. There you go. There we go. Sometimes with the wet paint, it's a bit reflective and you can see the reflection of this and you're like, why is it not disappearing and you're just painting over a reflection? By the way, about shows, anime, movies, my favourite character's always been anti-heroes. Anti-heroes are fun. Just don't ask me to listen to any anime songs or Vocaloid. Hi Tony, how you doing? My favourite, Deathstroke used to be one of my favourite characters because he was an anti-villain or anti-hero. Until I read some of his other comics and I'm like, yeah, okay, Deathstroke. I don't really like you anymore. Like, yeah, villain does bad stuff, but he's not always like being just true villainish. What's made him cool is that he's kind of like this anti-villain. He's a mercenary. He has a grudge against Batman. And Robin. Anti-heroes have always been the most interesting characters because of the tragic backstories. Yeah, sometimes they're not always tragic backstories. Sometimes they're just the way they are. I like both styles. But sometimes I think it's interesting where a character does bad stuff, but they don't really have an excuse for it. But they also are self-aware enough to know it's bad and to also do good at the same time. And I find that an incredibly interesting dynamic. Oh, there we go. Well, I think one of my favourite, I can't remember what it is, but it was like this villain that has a tragic backstory and it's like why they do everything. But then the hero's got a very similar but even worse tragic backstory, and that's like why they're a hero. And when the villain realises the hero actually does understand, they suddenly go into a bit of a, oh, what's it called? Like identity crisis, like, oh my gosh. The hero actually does understand me. Maybe I was wrong this entire time. I don't remember what it was. I think it was an anime that did that. I think it's been done a few times. Punisher, despite popular belief, is an anti-villain rather than an anti-hero. Yeah. Punisher's not my favourite type of like that though. I think that's just partly for Punisher comics themselves. They're a bit too grim for me. Judge Dredd is a weird one. He's always struck me as an anti-villain. Because, you know, he kind of often is in a villainous role to, you know, characters that kind of have good motivations. But at the same time, he beats bad guys. But I often hear Judge Dredd is an anti-hero rather than an anti-villain. I don't really know what's meant to be the separation between them though. Like, both of them ultimately both fight good and evil. I feel like anti-villains do it, but they're like on the side of evil. Where anti-heroes are at least trying to do good. Don't really know what exactly makes one of them, one way or another. Oh, it's purple. It's very slow going first. I think I definitely want a contrast. Contrast paints are just so much quicker. Watering down a layer paint helps, but sometimes you don't get all the pigment and it just becomes streaky and you have to do another layer. It's like when you're trying to do a base coat like this, that's not great. The main thing that's making it a bit time consuming is because it's really detailed inside like all these different parts. You're having to really push the brush into these crevices. And it's a bit difficult. Because I ultimately don't really want the yellow really shining through below the purple. I'll be fine with other colours, but the Magis purple will always be able to cover it up, I guess. Space Marines should use halberds. Well, they're not quite halberds, but have you seen the Custodes? And the Grey Knights. I think some of the Grey Knights actually have halberds. The reason you generally don't see Space Marines using polearms is because most Space Marines don't get power weapons because power weapons are expensive, especially when you need to build them to be as big as a Space Marine, or to be big enough for a Space Marine. And the second reason is Space Marines generally just aren't that great in close combat. Like, they're good, don't get me wrong, but when they're going up against things like Khorne Berserkers and Tyranids and stuff, it's generally better just to give them a long-range rifle and just shoot down all the bad guys. Yeah, it makes us realise we shouldn't be judgmental towards others and not think in black and white scenarios with anti-heroes. Yeah. Although I think you can get that with good heroes too, like, what's his name? Superman. The moral of many Superman stories are very much that sort of thing. Well, that's like having a main character who is that understanding and can see into the backgrounds of characters. Oh, and like the Flash loves doing that sort of stuff. Where like the Flash is really good to his villains because he knows that a lot of his villains aren't necessarily bad people. Some of them just need help. Anti-villains are villains who do villain things but for good cause/motives. Usually because of a tragic backstory. Oh, while anti-heroes are a hero who do things for selfish reason. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. That makes a lot of sense to me. The Divide. Maybe I could do try each purple if I can go over with Severus purple. Very nice use them. They have them in the Demon Hunter game, Yeet, and they have them on the tabletop too. When it comes to the halberds, you get average Space Marine, it's just better to give them a gun. And while you can get like a halberd that's also a gun like the Custodians have, it's generally just a messy situation where it would just be better given a normal gun. You can train up Space Marines to be incredibly good in close combat, but that's a lot more effort than teaching them how to be good shots. And put something much greater risk than just teaching them how to be good shots. On top of this, unless they have a power halberd or like a force halberd or something like the Grey Knights and Custodians use, it's going to, a basic bog standard halberd is going to have a very hard time trying to rip through enemy armor. And like the carapaces and tough flesh that the enemies of the Imperium have. And that's one of the reasons why they use chainswords, because it's very good at cutting through armor. And he could go for a chain halberd. But that's going to be a very slow weapon. That's going to very easily get stuck and caught in enemy armor. And you're going to have to drop it very quickly. And resort to your knives anyway. The thing about the combat knife versus just like using a sword or whatever is one, the combat knife is a lot smaller, so you can just hold it as your sidearm. And the other thing is a very thick blade that's designed for piercing tough armor. So it's not going to get snapped and warped that badly by trying to push through. And because of its design, you see Space Marines using it like that. So they push into the enemy. Which is... It's very easy to get a very good stab into, like, through thick carapace, hides, whatever. When you're going to find with, like, a sword or a spear, really. I mean, in theory, yes, a spear is going to cut through them pretty well, but if you're using a spear, you might as well just use a gun. It is the future after all. So yeah. And like the knife itself, it's a side weapon. It's like a last resort weapon. Like you see Space Marines in close combat most of the time, they won't pull out the blades, like in most of the animations and even stories. They'll continue just using the guns. Or they might pull out a bolt pistol if the enemy gets too close, if they're struggling to get a sight on them. And they'll kick and hit them out the way so they can then shoot them. The knife is the last resort and they only really have it because it's small and convenient to wield. For our chain axes, yeah, for our chain axes. And the thing about the chain axe is they're basically the same as a chainsword, but they've got all the weight in the head, meaning you can press even more weight into the enemy than a chainsword would normally let you. So yeah. And halberds would be cool. Like, it would be fun to have the like sword breathing and stuff. Your melee focused units to actually have weapons that would make sense. Like power swords are cool, but why not power spear? It's all the advantages for a power sword, but now you can hit them from further away. I imagine that for whatever reason, making a power spear is just so much more expensive. because you have, and like so much harder. Because if you think about it, one of the things that makes a power sword really good is that it's basically got a force field around the blade that allows it to cut through things really easily, but also prevents things from cutting through it really easily. A spear doesn't really have... Oh yeah, and also you can't just hold on to a power sword. Like if you grab a power sword, you're probably cutting off your fingers. In real life, you can just grab someone's sword and pull it from their hand, even if it's a really sharp blade. Hi, Nano Fate. Power bolt gun. I mean, in Horus Heresy, they did attach like bayonets and stuff to the bolt guns and like these chainsaw bayonets to them. I wouldn't be surprised if they did have power blades on the bolt guns, which would make sense. But yeah, so the thing with like a power spear is that I imagine there's a big risk of it just getting cut or broken. So you have to make it out of a special material that's not going to get cut or broken or grabbed by the enemy. And that's just incredibly expensive and difficult to make. And they just decide it's not worth it. Would rather the Space Marines just risk being killed. Which sounds weird, but technology in the Imperium is very weird. There are Space Marines that do have power spears and stuff, like the Manticore. Chapter Master has them. Now, they're not lost tech. The Custodes have them and can still produce them. The Grey Knights are the exact same. Although it feels like all of the ones that the Space Marines have access to are just all relics. That they can still maintain, but they can't replace. But it would be cool to have like a chapter that has power spears that aren't Grey Knights. Like all of their power swords are just spears or halberds. And they just use a spear stat. Not spear stat, for normal power sword stat. It would make sense. If you want to model a power spear, it's pretty easy. If you look on like any sort of... does this guy have it on his power Thunderhammer? Yeah, if you look here on the Thunderhammer, there's like this little power pack effectively just underneath it. All power weapons have a power pack like that on them. Just take any sort of spear weapon and just add one of those power packs to it. In whatever way that you think would work. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to buy some of that contrast paint. Just so this process will be quicker. I mean, I am a slow painter. I know other people can paint models way quicker than I can at a higher quality. But I think all the 40k happens because psychic space frogs refuse to cure pre-robots of cancer. I mean, kind of. In a way. I like how the idea is that the dinosaurs were wiped out at the same time, right? As the entire war in heaven was going on. And you know, you got all this thing about the old ones and the love of lizards and dinosaurs. So the entire thing is that dinosaurs were wiped out by the war in heaven. That's kind of what it suggests. It wasn't just a random meteorite. No, it was like the Necrons just blasted the planet. Or threw a meteorite at it. And now Necrons, the biggest plague that faces them, is humanity. Yay! Oh, you gotta love that. Where did humans come from? A planet called Earth. No idea what that is. Where's its coordinates? Okay, let me just go through the Necron histories. Okay, we did find that planet in the past. It had a bunch of reptiles created by the old ones on it. And some weird rat creatures. Looks like Joe threw a meteor at it. That wiped out most of these dinosaur creatures. Then what? Oh gosh. Oh gosh, no. We created humanity. The next 60 million years, humans evolve. It would be funny if we get like an excerpt from like the Dark Age of technology of humans coming across 8 Necrons and defeating them without much effort. And Necrons chose to go to sleep for just a little bit longer. Because one of the reasons they went to sleep for so long was they were hoping that Eldar would just be wiped out by the time they woke up. And for orcs and stuff. Only to find out a threat even more dangerous and insane than the orcs or the Eldar appeared. Yeah, this is probably going to be the most time-consuming part of the project. And that's just painting everything purple. Once we've got past that, it should be relatively quick because we'll just be using mostly contrast and paints and dry brushing. And doing a little bit of detailing. The blue will probably take the next longest. But generally, when it comes to any painting project, I always find the longest process is just changing the base colour from the primer. I don't know, it's very hard to know what human tech was at its highest point. Because the Eldar have stated that human tech never reached our level, our pinnacle. Except then in the same books, it was disproven. Or do you know, like, not quite disproven, but then there's conflicting information within the same books and stories and so on. And then when you just look at some of the crazy Dark Age of technology stuff that appeared, or that we get to see, like, the most strongest of it, and you recognise humanity had control of so much crazy tech. But it's absolutely insane. And most of the tech that, like, the descendants of humanity use today now are just, like, very mundane. Like, the bolt gun is the equivalent of people in the future deciding that a random civilian handgun is the best weapon ever made. Or do you know, a really, really good weapon, and it's just meant to be like a boring, cheap civilian weapon that some people utilize? Actually, it wouldn't even be that. It's like we've had these weird disintegration weapons that were apparently the standard firearm for humanity, but are now just basically like these incredibly rare, dangerous relics. I guess decades of technology, humans are reaching for basic of Necron tech. I don't think they are better than the Eldar when it comes to material tech. They would have never approached the Eldar when it comes to the psychic technology, because humans of the Dark Age of technology weren't very psychic. We mostly became psychic during the fall of the Dark Age of technology, and that's one of the things that contributed to the fall quite heavily. When Slaanesh was effectively birthed, it caused a lot of chaos, and it caused like these random psychic awakenings all across humanity, and which caused demons to spill out into the real world. So when it comes to that sort of technology, humans are just... They never really had the chance to reach the Eldar knowledge. But we can look at the photon for what humans used to be able to do, and the Mechanicus, and just how like good human tech was, like how power armor and stuff. But we also have to remember that the photon effectively descend from mining colonies. But they're not like these super well weaponized group that's full of the best weapons and tech. No, they just descend from a group of miners. And their tech is just on a different... They got some of the best tech in the galaxy do for kin. And they're just so far below us. And it's just like, yeah, they weren't even the best equipped of humanity. It would be like if a security firm became the dominant military power on Earth. Monkeys are stupid, they'll never beat Eldar, Tau, and Necron tech. Tau tech is years behind Imperial tech. Like thousands of years. But you have to remember, the Tau got iron and like a lot of what we consider the best Tau tech came from the photon and the kin, which came from humanity. We're talking material tech, not psychotech. I don't know, because a lot of the Eldar material tech is it's related to psychotech, like the entire Wraithbone stuff that they've got going on, and you can't really do that without Psychus. Much of the Eldar tech is so intricately linked to being a psychic race that it's very difficult to use without being psychic. It's like even the rifles that they use, a basic rifle, like uses these psychic crystals as the main base. So it's and you can't exactly grow Wraithbone without being a Psyker yourself. At least that's what I'm aware of. Maybe you can. Well, the thing is we just don't know how good human tech was in the Dark Age, and I hope we never know. I hope we get, like, glimpses and stuff of what could have been. How a smart variant from the Stone Age to Star Wars at the same time humanity had from Stone Age to ancient Egypt. Yee. Actually, in theory, our Stone Age lasted like 2 million years or something stupid. I think it's more accurate to say the same length of time we went from starting farming to ancient Egypt. Or what we recognize as like the main time period of ancient Egypt, like the pyramids and stuff. Although even then, it's like we were farming for at least 14,000 years, and the pyramids were 5,000 years ago, so that's a 9,000 year gap. The Tau went to where they are today in like 6,000 years or something like that. The Elder can be as fancy as they want. It doesn't erase the fact that they birthed an evil god into existence. Yeah. Tau is the best tech, followed by Necrons. No, Tau tech's not the best. Tau, you've got like 3 different levels of technology. First is what you basically refer to as like your high tech. So the best tech you can possibly produce. You've then got your standard tech. So this is generally the tech that you see most often. And then you got your low tech, which is relatively low technological ancestor stuff that is used quite often anyway. Even though you could do something better, relatively easy. The Imperium uses a lot of low tech just because, for whatever reason. Like, the Imperium has access to computing that isn't AI, yet they'll still continuously use servitors for everything, just because grimdark future. And they can cheaply and mass produce computers. There's nothing stopping them from doing so. And they often do in certain places. The Imperium has a ridiculous level of high tech. It's on the same level as a Photon, and it's well beyond what the Tau are capable of, but it's still below what the Eldar and the Necrons do, although some of the high tech of the Imperium is pretty ridiculous. Although that being said, some of it comes from the Necrons and some of it comes from the Eldar, so... But then you've got your standard tech. The Imperium has very low standard tech. Like, they might be capable of producing these ridiculous wonders, but for most of the time, you're just going to see this very basic, bog standard technology, and they're not really interested in giving you better tech, or equipping the guardsmen or anything better than what they do. The Photon and the Tau, though, their standard tech isn't that much lower than what they're capable of. Like, as soon as they reach a new height, they'll try to standardize that technology as soon as possible. That's what the Tau do. That's why they seem more technologically advanced than the Imperium, even though the Imperium has the highest potential tech that they can produce. The Tau, on the other hand, the highest tech they can produce is their standard tech. Seems is so much better than Slaanesh. No, Slaanesh best, because Slaanesh gives me Warhammer. The Tau and Photon are the only ones who actually know what their tech does. No, that's not true. The Eldar produce their own tech still. Like, most Eldar are like extremely skilled artificers. And they are very well aware of not only what their technology does, but how to produce it, how to replicate, and how to mass produce it. So it's... And they can teach it to other Eldar. There is some tech that they're forgetting now, or at least some craft worlds have forgotten, because the people who could make it are all dead now. And other craft worlds aren't necessarily interested in teaching them this stuff. But the biggest craft worlds, most of them can produce like all of the Eldar tech still, and know exactly how it works. The Photon know some of their tech, but they're actually suffering from the same thing the Imperium is, just a bit slower. And that's the fact that they rely on the Photon cores for all of the technology. Goodbye, Mercury. Big love heart to you. Thanks for popping in and staying with us. I hope you have a good rest. From what you were saying, Imperial tech looks so low because basically... Well, it's a mixture of that and a mixture of they can't produce it massively. It's like, yes, we can produce this ridiculous level of technology that could just destroy an entire star system in a blink of an eye. But we don't really have the capability of producing more than one at a time. And even then, we don't really want to. But yeah, a lot of it's gatekeeping. Like for AdMech, you see the technology they're running around with, yet they don't give it even to the Space Marines, even though they could. It's because they're not interested in that type of thing. That they want to gatekeep the technology. They want to make others reliant upon them. And they want to make sure that they have the tech to be able to fight them off. Because they don't want the Space Marines going... Basically, they want to make sure that they have a political and military sway over the Imperium. So they don't give all the tech to the Imperium. On top of this, every tech priest effectively wants technological prowess and power and control over other tech priests. So if they discover an STC or figure out how to make something, they keep it to themselves. And if anyone wants that technology, well, they have to pay that tech priest an exorbitant amount of money or resources or whatever the tech priest wants to get hold of that technology. The tech priest becomes very in demand, and they can't keep up with that demand, but they're not interested in telling anybody. Then they die without telling anybody the tech, and it's lost with them. And you often find tech that is known by lots of tech priests, but none of them are interested in sharing that information, except maybe with one protege. The Necrons destroyed all their super advanced weapons of a war in heaven, a galaxy map that shows every star in real time that can supernova any star by clicking on it. That's not a weapon. And it's not meant to be used as a weapon, because it has the ability to destroy the entire galaxy if used improperly. The best way to describe it is like, when you have a sheet with a really nice pattern. Oh no, when you've got clothing and you got a bit of a string on the clothing that's sticking out, so you pull it and it completely undoes the seam on your clothing. That's what that's like. You destroy a star and it's like putting a seam on your clothing, and it's like, oh no, it causes like a chain reaction. So they don't use it because it's not a weapon. They use it rarely and sparingly, and generally not to make stars explode. Because they don't want to destroy the galaxy, because that's where they live. Do. But yeah, the Imperium high tech is... Imperial technology is incredibly gatekept. Photon though, the Photon cores have like all of the technology, but the Photon cores are becoming effectively so slow and stuffed up in the memory that it's no longer possible to get like the memory files. And as a result, they're losing a lot of the tech. Now, they do have kin who are innovators and who are technologically skilled enough to be able to make the tech themselves. But the issue is once those kin die, unless they teach other kin, if a photon core has forgotten how to make something, the kin that it will produce next might not have the ability to produce that technology anymore. So those kin then need to be taught by other kin. Other kin don't always think about teaching somebody the technology. So because that's not how it's meant to work. So you do find they're struggling to keep up with the tech, and some leagues don't have access to all of the tech anymore. Because everyone who knew how to produce it is dead, and all the new kin that have been produced since don't know how to do stuff. Because the Photon forgot. Similarly, the Imperium has the same issue. They often put stuff into their computers or their logs or whatever. And then it gets buried underneath a bunch of other stuff, and because no one knows how to do file organization on a computer, it gets lost. And that goes what to Duffers to have fun too. Yeah. Hello, some tweet posting idiot silly person. Don't forget they are slowly remaking tech on that level through things like Ghostwind. Ooh. Oh yeah, one of the other things about the Imperium is that you might have a tech priest who had a really nice filing system that they understood really intrinsically, but they wrote it in a coding language that only they knew. And as a result, no one knows how to read that language, and no one knows what any of the files do, and there's tens of thousands, if not millions of them. And it's like, yep, we're going to have to learn an entire new coding system to figure out what this tech priest knew. And that's just Warhammer Lore at its finest. So it's, But yeah, the Tau know their technology pretty well. And they are still engineering. And the Photon, to give them credit, they are still engineering. And so is the Imperium. Although sometimes a tech priest engineers something and like, look how cool this is. And then somebody goes, that looks like tech heresy. Kill him! The Ghostwind is terrifying itself because they found the lowest level of physical universes by using it. There was some sort of consciousness that scared them there. Wasn't that like the Tyranids? Or something like that. Or am I misremembering? Or am I getting it conflated with something else? I know that the neck ones realised suddenly that the Tyranids were a really big threat. Like they went from, these Tyranids are a bit annoying, to noticing something and be like, oh no. Oh no. I wonder if we're ever going to have like the Tyranids being defeated or something like that. Or like a major massive victory against them. Or the Tyranids continuously being a threat because now we're in the galaxy. And it's impossible to really get rid of this plague now. We'll just continuously evolve and come back and... whatever. Because it does feel like the law is pushing to this idea of bringing the Tyranids down. The flayed ones use a ghost wind, and that by do I don't really know what the ghost wind is. Ah, peace and quiet. gosh, what is this? Ah, my ear. Oh gosh, how am I meant to do this? This is a time-consuming model. A ghost wind is a place beneath dimensions that has no concept of reality. Sounds like for what? It is used in the Tri-Stead King books to transport a Necron fleet to the other side of galaxy. Ooh. There's a lot more that it can be used for, but it hasn't been explored very much. That's interesting. Although there's a lot of that already in 40k between, you know, the warp and the webway and stuff like that. Just adds on to it, which is fine, but I wonder, is that jutting bone meant to be chitin? Nope. Okay, what do I want to do? Ooh, ooh. Next week! Warhammer Quest is coming next week. Oh yeah, you can also win this. You Warhammer Quest stuff. Oh, new Maggot Kim book. Oh no, Path to Glory. Oh. I thought they already released this book. I guess it's a new one. Demolisher. The Rise of Nagash. Warhammer for Old World. Oh my gosh, you got a Warhammer for Old World book. I wasn't expecting this. Oh gosh, my entire... There we go. The thing that got me, though, is that the Necrons are not capable of feeling fear, but this thing of a basement... The Necrons are capable of feeling fear. Like the nobles and stuff do. The conscious ones do, but a standard Necron warrior doesn't. Like, they don't have enough consciousness to know how to feel fear. But the conscious Necrons know fear. I was reading a thing about Necrons fighting Tyranids. Oh no, the Necrons fighting Orcs, sorry. And it was like this person who was like a crypt keeper or something, and she felt fear as she was trying to stop this Orc invasion destroying her tomb. And she also felt embarrassment because, you know, how pathetic the Orcs were compared to what they used to be. But now they were destroying her. I don't even remember if she won that fight. I think she did. She had to use like some timepiece, but at the same time, it basically killed her. Tyranids will likely always be a threat to GW, can just invent a new hive fleet and throw it against the galaxy from outside. At least as long as their models stop selling. True. I would like to see like a really big victory though against the Tyranids. Or just in general for, you know, the side of good. Because it's been a while since we had like a proper good victory. Or whenever we do, we get like something else happens. Like you had the galaxy got split in half. Fair enough. Indomitus Crusade kicked off. And then immediately you had Ball being absolutely destroyed by Tyranids. And then what else happened? The Crusade was getting world after world, but the costs were just way too great for what the Crusade was doing. It's like... And then you've got like the Yanari are suddenly starting to fail and so on. Like every so often you get a little bit of hope, but then it doesn't really build into anything, you know. Dark Water minis are looking good. They are looking good. I am tempted by them. I'm not going to get the Dark Water minis though. I've decided not to. Well, I mean, I guess I can't really afford to at the moment. The Galaxy will fight for Tyranids together, or they will die separately. Maybe. It would be fun just to see like the Necrons and the Eldar and humans doing like this massive attack against High Fleet Leviathan, completely breaking its back. Like outside of the realms. And then Chaos takes advantage of all of these factions basically being distracted to do something. Because as much as it's like we often see, it's like, oh, they're always winning. It's like, the good guys never really get a good victory. Or I say the good guys. They're not really good guys, a lot of them. But you know, the side that isn't just completely and utterly evil through and through, or wanting to destroy everything. We get Pyrrhic victories at best. Like, yeah, we won at Baal, but we basically lost an entire chapter. Multiple chapters, and almost lost the founding chapter that is the Blood Angels. Massive Pyrrhic victory. Yeah, we won at Macragge, but it cost us half of Ultramar. Yeah, we did kind of beat back Chaos a little bit after doing Okadia. But the Galaxy is still ripped in half by Chaos. The Tyranids are still attacking from every single direction. And the thing about, you know, these Pyrrhic victories, a lot of people just aren't happy about them in general. Like, yeah, the Tyranids lost again. Oh no, it's not fun. The Tyranid players aren't happy. And then the Imperial players aren't even that happy because it's like, yeah, oh gosh, we suffered another crippling victory. Any more of these and the Imperium won't exist anymore. Like, we had the Macarius, or whatever his name is, campaign. And that was like a massive Imperial victory. And we had the victory against Gaskell Thacker, which at first was massive, you know, breaking his wars back and stopping this entire arc threat on a single world. Except then that was kind of reversed into, yeah, we beat him once, and he'll just keep coming back bigger and stronger than ever. Which, I mean, I get it that we don't want these enemies to just disappear. But it'd be kind of nice just to get... Yeah, this was actually a very good victory for us. I don't think they'll do that, if I'm entirely honest. Because, you know, they want the grim darkness. And it's fine. It's fine. Oh, I'm getting blue, purple all over the parts that are meant to be yellow there. It's fine. I can just go over with a sharpety bone to fix it off. Oh gosh, I just realised there's a big old bit of sprue attached to his head. No, I'm going to cut that off. It's annoying me. That doesn't look right at all. There we go. I mean, it doesn't have to be a victory against the Tyranids, though. It would be really cool for the Imperium to get a proper victory that unites Imperial Nihilus. I'll accept either Imperial Nihilus being kind of semi-saved, or Leviathan's back being broken. Actually, imagine if anything happens, what you'd get is a massive victory against the Tyranids, like the Leviathan's back being broken, and then for Ark, Gaskell Thacker would just be like, you know what, the galaxy's kind of undefended right now. Time to walk! Time to smash everybody. Feels like that would be the next story for doing like 11th edition. Got this really weird paint thing falling there. Where's my file? It's over here. Use this to fix over these types of issues. Here's the one thing I don't like about Citadel paints, these stupid pots being so terrible. There you go. I feel like Kalakin is apparently making some sort of continent-sized Tyranid creature. But isn't that just normal for Tyranids? Like for Biofleet ships, aren't they like continent size? Oh my goodness, I got all these Tyranids to paint, so I've done one. Is this terrible? They're all relatively complicated models, I guess. Oh, and I've got all these chesty parts to do. But yeah, Tyranids are crazy. you think the Imperium, or do you like the good guys, are going to get a good victory at any point? I mean, originally they had a really strong victory against Chaos, the 13th Black Crusade, in which they effectively contained it. And that was the original law before Cadia got exploded. But that's in space. The fleet is guarding this world and they're making this creature on it and not doing anything outside of guarding it. Oh, that's crazy. No idea what that would do. Maybe it's like a psychic feature that will start like just sending psychic blasts to other worlds. Weakening the defenders. Like, do you know Star Wars, the sequels with the weird Death Star that fired the Death Star beam through like wormholes or whatever? Star Killer Base. Like that, but Tyranids. Using psychic blasts. "40 years of law? Man, how do I even begin?" Start with a modern law. That's what I would do. Because a lot of the old law is just non-canon anymore. You can safely ignore it. So where the best place to start with anything is if you get your hands on like one of the big thick Warhammer rulebooks. They are generally the best for getting you everything you need to know about Warhammer. And then you can just go from there. Pick up Kyphius Kane. It's funny. Yeah, I've heard that's really good. We got one Tyranid faced with purple. Oh my gosh, I can already see issues I've got with it. I mean, most of the issues will be fine. We can always fix some later when we're going over for other colours. Oh gosh, I got purple over my lips now. Oh gosh, that was... Getting over exoskeleton on these things is not the most fun thing in the world. Also wondering about these spikes. Are they meant to be painted purple? Are they X? Don't forget to like the stream if you're not liked it already. No, okay, good. Those spikes aren't meant to be painted purple. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm just going to give my back a little bit of a rest. Because I'm hunching over stuff. Not very fun. You know what? I want to do you last. You're crazy. This guy... Oh gosh, my ear. I feel the inside of my ears being weird. There we go. Gosh, he's got so much stuff on him. Very weird model. But as I said, this is just the most time-consuming process of painting Tyranids. All of the purple. I tried to get as much of the purple done off stream as I can because it's like the least interesting part of painting them. I find the dry brushing sections of paintings the most fun. But one thing I would say is, if you know no law about 40k at all, and you want to know it, go to the Wikipedia page. No, the Wikipedia page is confusing. Go to my video, the latest video on my video page. I explain 40k as well as Age of Sigmar and Fantasy. Age of Sigmar might be a bit incorrect because I basically just had to search that up myself. Because I don't really know Age of Sigmar too well. I will be truthful with you. And then after that, just read any books you want. The Horus Heresy series is pretty nice. Dark Imperium is pretty nice. Kyphius Kane. He battles against almost every type of Xenos. Yeah. Gaunt's Ghost is also pretty good because they battle across lots of different things. Oh, you have these anthology books. If you see any of the like or of the books that just have lots of different stories and lots of different people, they're really fun because generally get to see like a really wide array of, you know, different characters and stuff. Codexes are often a good place as well just to get, if you just want lore and you don't really care too much about reading a story, Codexes are a really good place to start because they're designed to be read by someone that doesn't actually know the lore too well. They're designed for newbies, which is why sometimes people get a bit disappointed with Codexes. But I was like, yeah, it's not designed really for a veteran. Sometimes they will give new lore, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll contradict old lore. Sometimes that's purposeful. They like the contradictions, just Games Workshop. Not every contradiction is a retcon. Despite what people think a faction can have, think in multiple different ways at the same time. It's like how the Xenos hunters for the Inquisition. They're all about hunting Xenos, right? Yet they're the ones who work the closest with Xenos and are more likely to use Xenos technology. And who are most likely to ally with different Xenoses. So it's like, yeah. Why is a random adrenaline sack on the floor? The more I paint, the more I start wondering why I don't paint before I put models together. And then I'm like, I would never put any models together if I had to paint them all first. Also, when it comes to codexes, they can see, like, if you actually do want, like, a victory of whatever faction you like, and you want to see them get a definite overwhelming victory, they'll generally be filled with stories where that happens. Not every single story is going to be an overwhelming victory, mind you. Sometimes it might be a defeat, or where they barely survive. I do like that. There's enough room in the galaxy for every single faction to get some ridiculous wins. And just to absolutely dominate an opponent. And the Codex is all about trying to make whatever faction that they're about, you know, seem like the bestest, coolest faction. Which is why the debate between, like, different factions gets so heated. Like, I find it funny that the Photon Codex, the Tau Codex, and the Eldar and the Necron Codexes basically all say that the respective faction is the most advanced one. I am being a bit quicker with this guy. Choosing just to start from the bottom upwards. Eisenhorst is also a good place to start. It covers the Inquisition, a lot of Xenos, Chaos, and what the Imperium is, like, away from the battlefields. Yee! I do like it when books do cover things away from the battlefields. And one thing to note, though, especially with any books about the Imperium, of it's not just the Imperium, is that whatever insights it gives, it's not necessarily correct about everywhere. It's like people often take insights about Necromunda, because we have a lot of insights about what the world of Necromunda is like, and just expand it and extrapolate it to the rest of the Imperium, and it's like, no, that's not true. Necromunda is relatively special within the Imperium. Anything that happens on Necromunda is not necessarily happening anywhere else in the Imperium, or at least not to the same extent. Like, the Fansar gang with all its super high-tech stuff. Of the Corpstarch Reliance. Or even the fact that a gene stealer cult can be so easily contained to a single hive. Very often a gene stealer cult will appear and it will slowly spread across the entire planet before, like, kind of revealing itself. By the time you find out about a gene stealer cult, it's already infested, like, every single part of the planet. There's no way just to shut it down and contain it. Well, that being said, we do read about quite often about gene stealer cults that do get contained, such as the one where with Akaran and Chiron. That's because the gene stealer cult wasn't necessarily... The gene stealer cult hadn't planned for that. The Imperium had thought the planet was completely under Imperial control at that point in time. And it's kind of only by chance that we realised was a Gene Stealer cult there that was spreading. Today was a nail painting stream for the Neds. It kind of is. And by Neds, we mean this dude and this dude. We've painted one dude fully with purple. I am very slow at this. I apologise. It doesn't help I keep getting distracted. Has everyone else been a bit more productive than me? Don't know what we're gonna do next week. Do you want to play more Total War? I won't play more of the Slanesh campaign. If we do. And how well was this guy painted in the end? Like, I didn't go too much over where the purple's meant to be. There's a little bit of where the purple is meant to be, and it's still a little bit yellow, but that's going to be caught by non oil, Majo's purple, Ceres and stuff. A bit of yellow poking through here and there isn't too bad. Because it is a biological organism, it is going to have spots where it's not correct. Or where it's not the colour you'd expect it to be. Same with getting a bit of purple on the yellow's not going to be always bad. I think for a fine there, we can wait for the rework. Yee. I might play more of the Rimworld, although I don't know if people are really liking the goblins. I'm thinking about just removing the Warhammer mods and just going into Rimworld proper. I'm also thinking that I kind of just went on too easy mode. I didn't realise this character of the storyteller that we took was going to be so passive with us. Removing, not for 80 mods, just maybe for Warhammer mods. Because I think they're just adding a bit too much change. Alternatively, as I said, maybe just do a new campaign where we increase the storyteller. I was having fun with our little goblins though, so maybe we can keep it. But I don't think other people are quite enjoying it as much. I feel like once the novelty of it being Warhammer wears off, it loses a bit of a joy that Rimworld normally has. Like, I really, really enjoyed our time with the Northerners in our little frozen hellscape. I'm also thinking about getting Combat Evolved onto it, because I hear it's a really, really good mod. And it both increases your risk of injuries, but also decreases your chances of stupid stuff happening that's just not really fun. Like, you know, like someone using a terrible bow to kill your character that's got this cool armor on. That being said, we did just get a heat laser from the... I don't know if we can change the storyteller. I don't think we can. On RimWorld. Like, if we can improve the difficulty, I'll do it. Because I am getting a bit... The fact that we can go through a 6-hour stream without seeing... Oh. Yeah, without seeing a single raid was one of our streams we had. It's like, how? Not like I was struggling with anything. It's not like... I think one of the things that is fun about the 40k one is if we started getting attacked by things like Space Marines or like Guardsmen or whatever. Or proper demons. Just stuff that's not happened yet. Maybe we can just keep going with it. I really want to see what happens if that heat laser finally hits somebody. That we stole from the Dark Eldar. The heat lance, that was it. Last time we almost hit somebody, but then they got shot down by the bolt gun just before. We hit the enemy base and it just completely obliterated it. I say completely obliterated a wall and set everything on fire. There you go. I do find painting models like this very relaxing though. I think most people do. I think we'll do more painting next week. We'll also do more Terminator building. Gotta play Halo 4 still. What time is it? 4 minutes past 7. Oh gosh. You want to continue painting? And we can go for a bit longer. I've not eaten very properly today. I don't really want to eat properly today. I've had 2 shortbreads and a packet of crisps. That's enough food to keep a cupcake going. Scottish shortbread, eh? Actually, it's full of stuff. It's like got protein in it, salt. I'm like, oh my goodness. Vitamin C? My goodness, shortbread. You can live off shortbread. You can't live off shortbread. Don't do it. Don't try it. Only a true Scots woman can. Relax, Maxin. Yee, relax, Maxin. Oh, well, we talked about a lot of weird stuff today. Have to be careful in these streams because you don't want to talk about something too weird. I'm the kind of person that I just talk and I talk and I talk and just say weird stuff sometimes. Not even funny weird. Oh gosh, my ear's so weird. I can feel it. I had to go to the doctor and ask him about it. I think it's my sinuses, really. There we go. See what I mean? I just keep talking about weird stuff. And I'm like, why am I talking about this on a stream? I shouldn't be talking about sinuses on a stream. I keep thinking I need to go and actually do stuff, you know, beyond my own house, so I have stuff to talk about on stream. So watch other streamers that are like, I went out to a friend today and this happened and we did this and we did that and we saw this cool thing, and I'm like, I've been painting for same knits. That would be that would be what's it called, painting on stream. And I've got more interesting stuff, but it's like stuff I've done in the past. I hate that I live in somewhere where ordering models takes like a month and no local store sells anything Warhammer for like 1,000 miles. Oof. When I was on holiday once, like as a kid down in Somerset, I found models in really weird places like garden centres. And I can't remember what it was. It was just a couple of weird stores that sold them. They were really old models, a lot of them. Like, they're a mixture of old and new. Got quite good deals on them. Oh, yeah, taking a month to cut. I don't think... Actually, no, if you live in parts of Scotland, and especially like in the island areas, yeah, it can take a month to get models. But most of mainland Britain, outside of like the rural Scotland areas, delivery times aren't that bad. Like, I don't think even rural Wales has that bad delivery times because it's just so connected to England. Not nowadays, anyway. That being said, I did have like a month delivery time, well over a month delivery time for a bunch of models. Because everything just kept getting delayed, and even when we made it to the post office, the post office is just delaying delivering them. Which meant I ended up eventually getting loads of models at the same time. Okay, for now, I think he's doing okay. I tried to finish more of these models before the next stream. Because, as I said, I don't think they'll take too long once the base coat's done. It will just be get the base coat done, then dry brush Shera's Genestealer Purple, sorry. Then dry brush this on, the entire model. Then throw Nastrag yellow, then Bad Moon yellow, then Uriel yellow. Oh yeah, Major's purple and known oil on the back. Agrax purple, then just get this blue onto certain areas. And then this blue over the same areas, and a little bit of Major's purple. And it should be good. Maybe I should move to Albuquerque. Can have more fun there, but I own my own house on the reservation. Ooh. I think generally, if you're moving house, it's best to, if you can, like if you already own your own property, and you can sell it for a decent price, it will always be best to make sure that whenever you're moving house, to buy the property where you're moving house to, and to make sure that you get the land, because that's one of the things some people struggle with in Britain, is that you own your house, but you don't actually own the land underneath it. You're only leasing it. We thankfully own the land and the entire property. Some of our neighbours don't. Oh. Personally, I want to live somewhere, potentially in Scotland, where I've got good access to internet and a good access to like a tram or train, where then I can reach cities, but where I'm living isn't actually within the city itself. And it's just in a nicer area. That is like the perfect thing. I'm not too far off that with where I actually do live, but there's like no bus service that's nearby. So if I do actually want to go anywhere, I have to always get a lift or get a taxi. Because I can't walk the 2 miles to the closest bus stop reliably. And even if I can, I'm not necessarily going to be able to make the walk back. Oh gosh. But this went a lot slower than I expected. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I didn't really look at the models, just how detailed. I'd forgotten just how crazy the Tyranid, you know, the carapace blends into the skin, and it's just really difficult painting those areas. This one I did a little better with and like under there. But again, I can just go over with a Sharpity bone to fix it up. I'll just leave it. I don't think it will matter too much having a bit of purple showing through under it. And again, there's 9 of these guys. And for models like this, if you do see it, you're probably not going to even be seeing underneath that. I'm not painting these or painting competition. I'm painting them for like, to maybe eventually play with. I want to see if there's like any, what's it called, gaming clubs near me and trying to go out to them. But I'm like very nervous about doing something like that. There we go. Oh, look at him. Look at him though. There's this Tyranid warrior prime. Bam bam bonk. Ah! Oh, darn it. But thank you for coming to the stream. If you've not liked this stream, then please do, because it does help me out. And it makes me know if you like the streams. But also, thanks for coming, thanks for watching and spending time with me. It's always nice to spend time with you guys. Always helps my mood. And you help me get all the stuff I need to get done, like all this painting. My OCD will kill me. Yeah. I'm having to learn about stuff like... That's what I used to hate about painting when I was a kid. And it was like, especially with old cheap brushes, where it was really hard. Where you're trying to paint models as something that looks like this. And I get that like focused. Yeah, something that looks like that. And you can't get it. You don't want to mess things up, but you keep messing things up, but then you have to fix it and you just can't get it right. And it always depressed me when I was painting. Oh. And then I learned the magic of dry brushing. And shades. But... oh, thank you. And also remember to take care of yourselves, be kind to others and vice versa. Work hard, but play harder. And also eat good food, sleep well, dream of cupcakes, but don't eat cupcakes as their friends, not food. Yee! Big love hearts to you all. Bye-bye, everyone. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Wee! Ah! Silly billies. Love you all.